Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast, brought to you by our friends over at PGA Apparel Co., bringing you all the gear you need for playoff baseball in Philadelphia. Currently up 3-0 as we're here in recording over the Atlanta Braves. The Philadelphia Phillies, I must admit, are probably one of the better watches of the postseason. I have a coworker who's from Arizona, so I've been rooting for the Diamondbacks, but also watching the Phillies has actually been relatively entertaining, despite my absolute hatred for everything Philadelphia. So check them out, PHI Apparel Co. All your gear for the Phillies, the Wings, the Sixers, and the unfortunate Flyers. Check them out, phiapparel.co. Steve McAvoy, Ben Pirro here for the Get in the Hole podcast. Welcome on in to another terrific showing in the world of the PGA Tour. And we lead, Ben, with the end of the Creature Ground in 2023. The Sanderson Farm Invitational, my gimme pick of the week was Ben Griffin for a top 20, held the 54-hole lead and gave it up, going 2 over in his last 3, opened the door to a 5-way playoff with a chance to not only lock in my gimme, but also my winner, Ludwig. I realized his name is not Aberg, it's Oberg. So I stand corrected after hearing Swedish golf Twitter basically berate everybody, being like, oh, you say his name wrong. So I had the chance for Ludwig Aberg to get a victory. Unfortunately, he came up short, and Luke List tabs his second career win on the PGA Tour. Ben, the real question here that I just kind of want to recap with the result from the Sanderson Farm. There was a lot of different things that went on aside from Griffin's collapse, but I really want to dig into the weeds here on Ludwig Aberg as a player, because we're seeing the growth, and we've seen the growth of American golfers like Colin Morikawa, and when Matthew Wolff first came up prior to him jumping to LIV, and a few others. What is that? Oh my God, it's the loudest fucking dumpster I've ever heard in my entire life.
Steven, stay on task. You were 10 minutes late. Hurry up.
I'm sorry. We've seen the revolution of the young generation of golfers with the likes of Viktor Hovland and Colin Morikawa, but how far can Ludwig Aberg bring his ability from Texas Tech now to the pros? How far can he go?
I think he can go very far. I think that he's just, based on the fact that he's just getting started, his career is really in its infancy stages. I mean, and he's already made such an incredible impact. He's such an unbelievable talent. It's kind of bizarre that we hadn't really heard of him prior to this. I mean, when he was making his professional debut, there was definitely some buzz about him, but he wasn't getting enough hype, I think is the best way to put it. He got flew under the radar in a way. As far as not really being the center of attention, and guys that are going to be making would have been making their professional debuts. I mean, he has exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations of what so far. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I think he has the talent to be an all-timer. Now, whether that happens, that remains to be seen, because there's a lot of things that go into that. There's an element of luck that's involved, and there's an element of availability, of being healthy, what the desire, whether he wants to continue to do this or not into his, late 30s, early 40s. I mean, that's all stuff that athletes, regardless of the sport, that they have to deal with, right? That's his confidence as well, and how he handles adversity. But as of right now, I think he has done an incredible job, and I think he can go very, very far. I think he has the ability, just looking at the physical talent and ability, he has the ability to become one of the best of all time.
Yeah, from the technical side, he's a incredibly savvy golfer, and you saw it in the Ryder Cup, almost unfazed by whether it was cheers or jeers from either side. Was completely unfazed, played with some of the best players in the world, and for the most part showed some people up. And I found it amazing considering he had never played in a major before, and yet he's here on the Ryder Cup. I think he's the first player to ever do that. And you're right. I think he has been almost underhyped because, first of all, when you look at his route to the PGA Tour U has only been around, I can't even tell you how long, probably only a couple of years at the most, to be one of the first guys to earn that automatic bid onto the PGA Tour straight out of college. And then, like, you look at his college stats. I remember months ago we went over like Rose Zhang's college like statistics, and Ludwig's is even probably crazier. He's the only player in Texas Tech history with multiple wins in 3 different seasons. He's the first player in the history of the Big 12 to repeat as an individual medalist. He left Texas Tech with a to par scoring average of 2 strokes. His lowest score to par of just under 1. Most single season victories ever in the conference and in school history at 4. He had a scoring average of 68.7 in college. That's like ridiculous, particularly playing in the Big 12, where a lot of the courses they play are actually PGA like sanctioned events down in Texas. Like played often at TPC Craig Ranch, other areas in the he played at TPC San Antonio a couple times and almost shot the course record there. He swept all 3 National Player of the Year awards between Ben Hogan, Fred Haskins, and Jack Nicklaus. He's only the 7th player all time to accomplish the feat. In his inaugural PGA Tour U win, he earned his full card, literally in his first ever event. So from the jump, he was already so far ahead of the curve. He's the only male golfer in D1 history to win both his conference and regional championships. So that's just like literally the page goes on and on and on for about 3 or 4 scrolls of the mouse. So like that's how amazing he is. And again, from a technical side, I think he's just so fantastic. And you could probably dig more into that. But haven't seen a guy like this probably ever to be able to go into a Ryder Cup, now get his footing on tour. Even this past week at the Sanderson Farm, had a bad first day, came back with 3 straight rounds in the 60s, pushed his way all the way up to second, and came into the final day down 5 strokes. That's a lot of golf for a 22-year-old. So God bless him. I really hope the best for Ludwig Aberg, and to see him grow and climb and become hopefully one of the best European golfers of all time, which again, tall task for the kind of guys who have come through, but a lot of promise to come through. Moving on now to a bit of the business side of the world of golf, something we haven't really discussed much because it's kind of been under the radar. No one's talked about it. It's been all PGA Live for the last 7 months. The TGL, which was announced 4 or 5 months ago from Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods, the Stadium Series Golf Tour, which now features 16 professional golfers ranging from Jon Rahm to Rory McIlroy to now adding on guys like Tommy Fleetwood and Tom Kim as of this past week, officially partnered with ESPN on a multi-year deal. They'll air on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus beginning January 9th, the day after the College Football National Championship. So it's going to be a Monday night to remember for a lot of us. We're hopefully going to be able to set up a live stream with our friends over at Streamer Season. We'll let you know how that goes as things get closer to the date. But Ben, how monumental is this, not only from a standpoint of growing the game of golf and to be able to get on a national stage, almost like they're identicalizing it to Monday Night Football just in the offseason with how they're trying to get the scope and the reach. How monumental could this be, considering the game of golf has been so behind a paywall for years and years and years?
Well, it's not the off season. It's in January, which is when the season technically starts.
Off season for like football, considering Monday Night Football will then lead into this.
I got to be honest. I think it's just like a really. I'm trying to put this in a constructive way without sounding like too much of a dick.
Do you think it's a gimmick?
Yes, actually, yes. That's the perfect way of putting it. I really don't see the draw of this. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a professional golfer and I'm I view golf as being played a certain way, and I'm very much I don't know. I just think I'm not going to say I'm a traditionalist because I'm happy that guys are getting paid when they go to live. Like I'm happy about that. So I wouldn't say I'm a traditionalist, but there's a way that golf should be played. And I just don't think, first of all, I think it's hilarious that ESPN jumped all over this. I think it's like such an ESPN thing to do because they just throw money at the wall hoping it sticks, honestly, because they're losing. Aren't they like losing a ton of money? Like,
They are.
Yeah, like they're falling apart. And of course they would pick this. Like first they go after Pat McAfee's show, which is like an amazing show, but it's like, of course they have to put their paws all over it. And now they're going after this golf thing. It's like, why not just start? If they really want to be, I honestly thought that they would have gone to live before they would have gone to Tiger's League. If I'm being honest, I thought that level of golf would be much better based on how it's more of a traditional aspect on live, even though it's not quite what we're used to. I just think it's a gimmick, and I just don't really particularly care for it. And I don't have cable, but if I did, I definitely wouldn't be tuning into it. So, yeah. Hey, I hope it's good.
The big thing for me is that because we don't really know anything about it, like, first of all, we don't even know what TGL stands for. That's the first part of this. I'm gonna assume the golf league. That would make sense for some sort of degree. Or
I thought it was Tiger Golf League. I don't know because it's Tiger. Isn't it Tigers?
It's Tiger and Rory's. I don't think Rory's the kind of guy to be like, all right, my name can be off the marquee. Rory's the asshole to be like, my name should be there. Right?
Yeah, or else his hair would be even grayer. But okay.
So I don't really like. No one really knows exactly what the TGL is. According to Sporting News, they say it's a data-rich virtual course complete with a tech-infused short game complex featuring a greenside fan experience. Like, these things are, what it sounds like is you go to like Topgolf at this point and you're playing like mini games.
Or it's like
I'm up to assume that, but
or it's like a real life video game. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's like, it just doesn't sound appealing to me. If I'm gonna watch golf, I want to watch actual golf. That's what I want.
But the one thing I will say, and I agree with you. Look, I'm a bit more traditional in the way like I'm used to golf as a stroke play format. I do like the idea of like match play and how some events now do like Stableford system. Like I like those things, but when you look at it from the lens of growing the game of golf, I do think it is actually an important thing that this is happening. Yes, it's different, but I think of this similar to like how Nickelodeon and Disney are trying to like bring in children to watch football. Like nowadays, while golf has grown post-COVID as a sport where now you have everybody who's over the age of 21 now playing at 21 to 35 demographics got huge, which is great, but it's also led to a few cons, I guess you could say, in terms of a spectator sport kind of situation. It's a lot of belligerency and a lot of drunkenness, but that's
that way.
It's only gotten worse or more. I shouldn't say it's necessarily worse. At the end of the day, it's bringing in fans, but to grow the game and to get more children and people involved and to give it a new kind of twist where the NFL is now getting Nickelodeon, they're getting Disney, they're having, first of all, the Disney cast for the Jaguars game was awesome. The way they used like a tech companies like VR to basically map out every single movement exactly the way it was. That was pretty cool. There were a few hiccups, but to be able to give a new standpoint to the way the game is played and while keeping true to the basics, if there's going to be a greenside area, maybe guys are going to have like chipping contests or having certain kinds of things like that, where it is staying true to the pure mechanic of golf while in a different setting. I'm all for that. I think it's great if you can get eyeballs on it. I don't know how successful it will be, but at least for the first time, it's going to be an event that isn't behind a paywall, which I think matters a lot. And it'll be a primetime 8:00 showing, 3v3, just like how Monday Night Football is viewed, just a continuation of that fandom. So I think I'm all for it. I think it works. I think it's something to look forward to and might be something to keep an eye on as it grows. I'll certainly be intrigued by the numbers of things as we push into it. Before we head to break, I wanted to debate this topic with you because I think it's it's interesting. I saw a recent drop. You obviously are a music fan. For those of you who don't know, Travis Scott released a line of golf shoes. Phil Mickelson first wore them at a live event. Became a whole like thing. Like street culture and style is intruding into the golf space. I wanted to debate with you like how, as a player and as somebody who has to wear certain clothes at some point once you get sponsored by certain brands, like what do you style? What do you game? Do you like the idea of like streetwear brands getting more into the weeds, collabs, like how Jordan's now in golf, Travis Scott's are now becoming a thing in terms of the shoe game. We're getting a lot more other like smaller batch brands getting involved in golf. Like I think Supreme is starting to launch a golf line. 7-Eleven, of course, did their thing. And then just like as a general two-pronged question, I guess, like your thoughts on like joggers and hoodies in golf.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think any way that we can. I mean, I might sound like a little bit of hypocrite because what Tiger's League is kind of doing is growing the game, even though I think it's dumb. But I'm a fan of if you can grow the game and make it more appealing to the audience, that is a plus because golf has really, for as popular as golf got during COVID, we're still seeing golf courses close.
Yeah.
And people aren't maybe having as fun because there's less courses now, which means that there are more golfers at fewer courses, which makes the rounds longer or harder to get tee times or more expensive tee times now because when there's less of something, it's more expensive, right? So regardless, I think it's a positive. Look, I'm a cross between like athletic and preppy. I think that's kind of my style. Like I wear Nike shoes. I wear like more like fitted pants or like fitted shirts, but it's also preppy at the same time. I don't mind at all seeing Jordan golf shoes or, Nike kind of like those trendy kind of Nike shoes or you said it was Travis Scott, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the collab that Travis Scott did. I think that that's all great. I don't have a problem with it at all. Like hoodies and joggers, I am totally fine with that. It's actually funny. I thought of this. When you asked me about the hoodies and the joggers, when I was at Xavier, we actually got hoodies that were golf hoodies, from Nike with the X on it. And we were practicing at our home course one day, and a member at this private club, which was our home course, was bitching about one of my teammates wearing a golf hoodie on the range. So I think that being said, it's much more accepted by the younger generation than it is the older generation.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because they grew up, it's like slacks, everything has to be you have to look super preppy and perfect the minute you see someone. I mean, look, there are guys, I've seen guys try to wear joggers and they just can't pull it off and they have no business wearing them. But I mean, if you want to wear joggers, go for it. I think as long as it's like athletic material and you look presentable, that's fine by me.
The one guy who I think can't pull off joggers is Justin Thomas. I don't know. There's something about him that just like doesn't scream joggers.
Never seen
he wore. So now he reps Grayson. So like they're the guys behind like the jogger movement. Like Eric Van Rooyen was like, I remember when Eric Van Rooyen showed up. I forgot. I think it was the Northern Trust when I went with Johnny. He showed up with the ridiculous mustache and these like bright maroon joggers with black golf shoes. And everyone was like, what the fuck is this guy wearing? He looks like an absolute noob. And everyone gave him shit. Like you heard in the gallery, everyone's like, oh my God, he has chilly ankles. Because he's wearing the low socks with the joggers showing a little bit of ankle. I personally love the look. I also think hoodies are just like, it's, first of all, hoodies are far more comfortable than a quarter zip. I think like quarter zips are great.
I have a couple golf hoodies. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I vibe with the idea of having something that's a little bit more. Plus, like hoodies are also, I like how they're more versatile with leather. Like I could wear a golf hoodie. I think one that I have one from Ralph Lauren, and I have another one from I think Adidas, and it comes all the way up, so it has the like the full neck for when it's cold, but it's also good for rain, where I could throw the hoodie over. I don't have to have some sort of extra thing. Also, like the vest game is getting so like outdated and tiring that I'm like, I don't want to have to layer up and feel like I'm like a tin can when I'm on the golf course. If I can wear a hoodie that's nice, oversized, gives me a little bit of comfort, I'm all in for that. I think the Travis Scott thing's funny though, because when you look at the golf space, and I follow this account called Golf Projects, and he does a really good job of like outlining all the like the new drops, whether it be from like Malbin or like Malbin and TaylorMade did a collab that was really cool. A lot of these small batch brands are coming into the game, releasing more like streetwear T-shirts, not necessarily for the golf course, but just like things to rep that are golf related. And then of course like 7-Eleven's releasing socks and like Hawaiian shirts and whatever else you got. But the Travis Scott thing has literally created like such a controversy and such a, I guess, a polarizing item at this point. Like even GQ is writing about it. Like they're saying that the hypest shoe of the year is a golf shoe. And then you have like what KB sent us. It was a golf shop in London is making people drive the ball 200 in order to buy them. Like these things I think are hilarious, and it creates demand, and it creates an aura around golf that I think makes things a lot more interesting. I've also realized that I can buy Jordan 1 golf shoes that are cheaper than actual Jordan 1s on retail, and they're spikeless shoes. It isn't like there's anything different about them. So I don't know. I find it fascinating. I think the style turn is growing, and then of course even like polos. You have like Harry Higgs that doesn't want to wear any buttons. Eventually, we're gonna have the polos that have the buttons like all the way down. And the only bad style though, and I know you agree with me on this, and I'm pretty sure I said it before, Phil Mickelson's dress shirts.
I knew it. Yeah, I agree. But not
the ugliest fucking thing.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm looking because I didn't take that hard of a look at these shoes.
They're dope.
Understand how anybody has a problem with these.
You know what it is? I don't think there's a problem with it. I think it's just that like it's polarizing, and it's like it's funky and new.
Yeah, but Nike has been doing stuff like this for a while.
Yeah.
So this is nothing. This isn't really that new. I just think maybe because it's Travis Scott.
Maybe
behind it. I don't know. Who knows? I think we just need like stuff to bitch about.
Honestly, yeah, I totally agree. And then like you have like companies that are like here. This is what I love. Like Golf Digest put out a headline today. How the new Travis Scott and Nike Air Jordan golf shoe is proof that sneaker culture has reached golf and it's here to stay. And it literally opens up with the idea that it's created such a demand and such a like the reselling business has now grown into things even further than just typical street culture. And I don't know, it's fascinating, it's cool, it's new, it's something that you aren't seeing, and whether you like it or not, and golf equipment is going to cost more and more in the future, particularly like golf shoes and stuff like that, because people are going to be able to like create demand. I think it kind of sucks for those who like me know that golf shoes cost less than the actual retail shoe, and I can get them for cheaper. But you're seeing like Nike Dunks that are $130, $140, and then they retail and then they resell for like $200 in the actual general shoe market. I don't know. I think it's funny. I think it's an interesting thing to keep an eye on and continue to grow the game. But I appreciate your input on what you rock. If there's one thing you would never wear on the course, what would it be? I'm nervous with this answer.
I don't know, man. The Bryson hat. That's.
I don't think anybody's really open to gaming that one.
You have one.
It's a joke, yeah.
You have one. What else? Nothing like. There's nothing really that I wouldn't wear. If anything, I have to tell you what. I am not a fan of Grayson at all. I remember I tried on their shorts, and it felt like I was wearing a diaper. Like that's how it felt. Like they fit my butt. So weird.
I mean, it is Australian, and like I know, like overseas brands always like run smaller, typically.
Yeah, but the length was fine. It was just that in the ass there's
no room.
There was no room. And it's like I've had stuff like I don't know, like I think because of like my physique, I have a hard time kind of like finding stuff that kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I have to be very picky about what I wear. Like I remember I was wearing these red Vanley joggers, and are you familiar with Red Vanley?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So they had sent me some stuff when I was like, this was like right my last semester at Xavier. They sent me some stuff, and I wore them at a tournament. And my mom was watching. I was playing. This is when I was playing. This is like right when I turned pro. I was wearing them at a tournament. My mom was with me. She literally said to me after the round, she's like, "You can't wear those anymore." Like she literally said to me, I can see like the outline of your dick." And I sat. She's like. Basic, like, and she's like, it just looks like it's like hanging out. What happened?
That was weird. I got lost for some reason.
I can't even see you.
I'm here. Don't worry. I don't know what happened. I got like lost. What the hell? This is so weird. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you.
I don't know what happened. I think my my internet just lost connection, but I heard everything you said.
Wait, did you even when you went bye-bye?
Yeah, no. So your mom saw the outline of your penis.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Did you hear what the part where I said it's like hanging out?"
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically what she said. And then when I was talking to the people who set me up with Red Vanley, they were like, "No more Red Vanley for you," and I told them what my mom said, and they were just like, "Oh, it sounds like a good problem to have."
My God. Yeah, no, I struggle. So, like, granted, you and I have two very different physiques, but
that's true.
Do you ever find yourself though that like golf attire fits you better than like regular clothes?
No.
Because like
no, it doesn't. It does for me. It doesn't.
Okay, because for me, and I don't know what it is, I cannot wear like I just recently went to my cousin's wedding and I had to get a suit, and I got the suit. Everything fits great, but throughout high school, going to a private school, having to wear a shirt and tie, the best pants that I ever owned were always Under Armour golf pants. And that's literally exclusively what I wore was Under Armour golf pants with a dress shirt and a tie. But, well, first of all, they were so comfortable, and B, I don't know, like the taper just fit better than like dress slacks.
Uh-huh.
I find myself wearing golf clothes far more often than I do anything else, and it's kind of taken up my entire wardrobe, kind of in a bad way. Are you videoing me?
No.
Kids is just on his phone, totally ignoring.
I'm listening. You're just taking forever.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to fill time here. We're under 30 minutes, and I'm trying to.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
You suck. All right, we're taking a short break. On the other side, breaking down the Shriners Open of Las Vegas, the TPC Summerlin coming up this week. Who's in the field? Who's playing? Who's going to be our big winners? We got Scout in the field and some beer money coming to you coming up next. Welcome back in. It's Get in the Hole with Benny Boy and Steve here. Scout in the field time for the Shriners Open of Las Vegas, and this is a very interesting event in more ways than one. There's a lot of news coming into this one. I'm not gonna lead with the big news of the week. I want to kind of let it simmer before we relax. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. I want to start off the overall chat here with. So this golf course is one of the longer courses of the fall swing. It comes in at, let me get the number up, a little over 7,300 yards in total length. The course has been known for long hitters. It's been known for guys who are able to get a lot of distance, a lot of accuracy to thrive here. It's a bit more of an open golf course than what you're typically used to on tour. But TPC Summerlin is no slouch, and I segue that in with the big news of the week. Lexi Thompson is joining the field this week at TPC Summerlin, the 7th female golfer in history to play in a PGA Tour event. Only one of the now 7 has ever made the cut at a PGA Tour event, and that was, I'm going to totally butcher her name. I'm not going to say it. In 1945 at the Los Angeles Open was the last time and the only time a female golfer has ever made the cut at an event. Michelle Wie tried it 7 times. She missed the cut in every single event. The last player to attempt this from the LPGA Tour was back in, I believe, 2018. So, Ben, you and I have some interesting opinions on the matter. I want to lead, though, with a quote from Peter Malnati, who said at the Sanderson Farm at the back end of the week, when asked that Lexi Thompson would be in the field, he had first called it a gimmick. I see gimmicks kind of becoming the word of the show, but then he later retracted it and said, like, oh, it's great that Lexi's trying to grow the game of golf, but the spot could have easily been taken by somebody who needed it a bit more. What's your opinion before we get into the weeds here? And is it good for women's golf? Is it gimmicky? There's a lot of different ways you can go here.
Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of it. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm just being honest. It's a long golf course. It's 7,300 yards. And there's only one instance ever where a woman has made the cut in a PGA Tour event. And that was in 1945. And the game of golf, from an ability standpoint, is much more refined than it was then. I think that's fair to say. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
I think this is a half-ass attempt by the PGA Tour to say, look at what we're doing for women's golf. When in reality, they are just setting another woman up to fail, really, is what they're doing. And if the PGA Tour, just the PGA Tour, really wants to help women's golf, they should make their own women's only event. That is what they should do. From legitimate tee markers, legitimate course difficulty that they're used to in the LPGA Tour. That is what they should do. And they make it an invitational. They invite whichever women they want to play. That way it's not Lexi Thompson and then like a bunch of men, right? Mm-hmm. Also, this is taking an opportunity from someone who is not going to get an opportunity that is a male. And that's very upsetting because I looked at this alternates list and I'm just gonna, forgive me for a second, I want to pull it up.
Yeah.
I just saw your flexing pick. That is just gorgeous. Brian Stewart, Michael Gillick, Nicholas Lindheim, Andrew Novak, Dylan Wu, Harry Higgs, Cameron Percy, Jonathan Bird, who, by the way, is a defending not a defending champion, is a former champion of this event. Martin Trainer, Satoshi Kodara, and the list goes on and on and on. Guys that have won the PGA Tour like Aaron Baddeley, Sean O'Hare. It's these guys need this list of guys. They need the start. They could potentially need this start. This could be the difference between them keeping and losing their card. A guy like Nicholas Lindheim just spent the season prior, I believe. I don't think he played hardly at all. If he did, I don't think he played really at all. If he did, it wasn't much because he was hurt, and they ended up getting a medical and finished top 25 in the Korn Ferry Tour this past year with a win. And now he's third alternate. And let's just say, if Brian Stewart and Michael Gillick get in, but he doesn't, then it's just like he's like the odd man out. I think unless the PGA Tour wanted to do like a mix, like kind of like a men's and women's event.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing. But the fact that it's just only Lexi Thompson and she's playing from the same tees as them, and the history of women playing in men's professional tournaments, it doesn't exactly favor her. And the fact that it takes away an opportunity from a player, that is very upsetting to me. And I just think this is another example of the PGA Tour just doing a half-assed job in a certain area, basically.
Yeah.
Whether it's paying players, whether it's giving players sufficient starts, blah, blah, blah. This is just, or helping or even helping women's golf, or the purse. Let's face it, the amount of money in purses in women's golf is much lower.
Yeah,
it's much lower. So, I think it's just a half-assed job by the PGA Tour. I really do.
So I want to elaborate on two of the points that you made. Starting out with the alternate list. So, and I'll use Harry Higgs as the example because I know the last 6 months for him has been kind of tumultuous. He had a miserable stretch for about 3 months, the back half of last year. Wound up losing his tour card and is now fighting his way back. And granted, he gets plenty of exemptions to be able to come back and play. But these guys that are alternates, and this segues into a second point, is the whole point of the fall swing for the PGA Tour is to now, particularly with the schedule changes for 2024, is to establish the top 125 for signature events, to determine who earns back their tour card, instead of it being just the season from September through the Tour Championship. It's now the fall swing helps determine the last 20 slots, particularly in this case, where now a guy like Harry Higgs or Andrew Novak or, again, Nicholas Lindheim, who is a top player on the Korn Ferry Tour and is trying to maintain, cannot get the starts necessary in order to rack up the points they need to either get into the signature events, A, or B, keep their tour card. On top of that, like Lexi Thompson, again, a great player. She's been playing since she was 15 years old. But she had back-to-back top 10 finishes. And prior to 3 starts ago, when she finished T19 at the beginning of September, she missed 5 straight cuts. She had one finish better than 30 dating back to last January. She hasn't played very inspiring golf for me to be like, hey, we should throw her hat in the ring. She also isn't even a top player in the world anymore. She's fallen back to 25th in the Rolex rankings. She's 82nd in the overall Cup rankings. Doesn't really give me the idea of, like, she's a top player in the world, we should keep her in the mix here. No, I think it's an aging player who they're trying to just simply continue to grow the game, but at the same time, to the detriment of everybody else. And then finally, the last thing, and we talked about this with we saw a stat or it was a graphic, I think, of like the longest LPGA like tour player and how like she hit outdrove half the PGA Tour or something like that, like based on average distances for an LPGA for a PGA player. We have to understand, and this is where I totally agree with you with the idea of creating a mixed event, which, yeah, we have the Grant Thornton Invitational and we have other events where we can mingle both sides, but making it where you can earn LPGA and PGA points and have your partner and do those things, I think is a lot more beneficial. We're playing a tour event at 7,300 yards where the average LPGA event is no more than 6,400 yards. They hit the ball 80 yards shorter. Like you said, you're setting them up for failure, considering the best score to par, aside from the one woman who actually made the cut, was 4 over. Missed the cut line by 4 strokes. This isn't an event that guys are going to be shooting 2, 3, 4 over, and the cut line is going to be close to that. No, like the cut line is going to be 2 under par. So you're going to be 6 strokes off, possibly. That's not that it's embarrassing for the player, but it's embarrassing for the product because you're not giving sufficient skill. At the very least, I would actually be happier if they let her play from the forward tees like she should naturally play, because there's no shame in that. There's no shame in playing from the tee box that you play the best at. If I play with you, granted you're far more the golfer than I am. Obviously. Realistically, despite you and I playing from the tips when you and I played at Bethpage, I realistically should have been playing a tee box up, because you're hitting it 300 off the tee. I'm hitting it 250. Like that's just the reality. There's a reason why we have forward tees, ladies tees, senior tees, the tips, the championship tees. There's a reason why these are here, and there's a reason why we have handicapping indexes and things to determine where you should play from. The pace of play matters, and the way this game operates matters. That's just how it is. And we can get a lot of shit for this, and I'll be totally straight with that.
We're right.
I'm not even going to say we're right, because I feel like it's too polarizing of a thing. And with the current day of social media, if someone sees this, they're going to cancel us in a heartbeat. But at the end of the day, like that's just the reality of things. Make things more equitable. Create an event with a PGA style purse. Have a men's and women's event where either it's their own event or it's a mixed event. You have partners. Maybe make the Zurich Classic. Make it a mixed gender event. Go for it. At the end of the day, you aren't losing by that. If anything, you're only making it better. So that's the way I see it. Don't parade around Lexi Thompson as if she is going to somehow like beat the field out, because she's not. And if she does make the cut, she'll probably finish last amongst the guys who do make it. But best of luck to her. I'm curious to see how she plays. I know she'll be followed a ton this weekend, so I'll be watching. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Ben, is there any final thoughts here?
Nope.
There you go.
Peace.
Before we jump into our beer money plays, I want to just go over the keys to victory here this week to give you all an idea. If you want the full breakdown of the golf course from everything, I covered it last year. You can go back and find that on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. 5 key stats to keep in mind and they're going to be a key part to our beer money picks coming up. Strokes gained approach, of course, naturally, it's the number one stat to keep track of. Everyone always is looking at it. Fairways gained is vitally important. There are 6 of the 11 par 4s on this course fall between 400 and 450 yards. So long irons are going to be long irons will reign supreme, as well as those mid to low irons and some high wedges to be able to get in. Bent grass greens this week at Summerlin. Strokes gained putting is going to be key. Again, one of the faster putting surfaces on tour year in and year out. It's a putting contest. This is an event where you want to go low, and the guys who have gone low in the past, we've seen scores of 24, 23, 22, 21 under, at least from 2018 to 2021. I think Tom Kim won here last year at 22 under par. So again, keeping it low, avoiding bogeys, birdie or better gained is a crucial stat here. So those are some of the metrics that we're looking out for. And with that, it is time to get into the fun stuff. Beer money brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Philadelphia's top light lager. Cheer on the Philadelphia Phillies with your own ice cold Kenny. Find them on the Kenny Tracker, now available in the state of New Jersey. Check them out, kenwoodbeer.com. We lead off with a top 20 pick at TBC Summerlin for the Shriners Open. Who you got?
All right, so I'm going to go with my man, Sam Ryder. I picked him for something last week.
Top
what's that?
Top 10, and you and I both flopped on that one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go top 20 this week for Sam Ryder. Maybe put a little less pressure on him, but I think this golf course suits him well. He's a really good ball striker, just an all-around good game. Yeah, Sam Ryder, top 20.
Top 20 for me this week. He has a top 12 and top 3 in his last 2 starts here. He has 5 top 27 finishes at this golf course in his career. The best name in golf, Adam Schenk, for top 20 for me. Top 10.
Oh my gosh, you're unbelievable.
It's a good name. It's one of the best names in golf.
Speaking of great names, top 10. I'm going to go with Tom Hoagie.
I knew you were going to say it. I love it.
I had to. I have no reason to pick him other than the fact that now we're just going off of cool names. So I'm going to go Tom Hoagie, top 10. Watch that be the one pick for me that hits this week.
Seems very on brand for you. Top 10, I'm going to the defending champion, Tom Kim. Not a cool name, but once you get context, the reason that he chose Tom as his American name is because of Thomas the Tank Engine. That's pretty fucking cool. I like him for top 10. Top 5, where are you going?
Top 5, I'm going to go with Siwoo Kim. I think this course is tailor-made for him. I think he's going to have a good week.
I'm joining you with Siwoo. Coming off the first event since the team tournament at the Asian Games, riding high because he doesn't have to serve in the military. He's on fire as of late. He had the best statistical strokes gained average amongst every player in the Asian Games. Just to kind of give you an idea. Was fucking filthy in the tournament. Top 5, Siwoo Kim. Your gimme.
All right, so my gimme, I'm going to go with, this is a tough one. I'm just going to kind of flip a coin. I'm going to go Adam Hadwin, top 30 finish.
Hadwin's been on a lot of the bookies' minds. I've been reading a lot of articles. Hadwin's a popular choice. I'm going to take a Las Vegas native who, at this point last year, I thought would be the rookie of the year, and then kind of just shat the bed and flopped the rest of the year. Went very under the radar. I like Taylor Montgomery this week for a top 20. Has played this course back in his college days. Grew up around this golf course. I like him a lot for a top 20 finish. Our winner this week, not the Sanderson Farm, the winner of the Shriners. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fucking mistake. Damn. I can get a lot of heat for that one later on. But your winner, what you got?
I'm going with Tom Kim to repeat.
Tom Kim to repeat. I'm going back to the well. I took him last week. Just came up short.
I knew
I'm
it.
going back. Ludwig Aberg. Give me the money. Show me the money.
I knew it.
I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing with Tom Kim last year. I feel like I picked Tom Kim every single week until he was going to win. I feel like it's almost at some point this fall he will win an event. I'm just waiting for the moment, and this course fits his game to a T. Especially with the putter, the flat stick's been fire for him. Final thoughts before we hit the road.
Your internet sucks. It interrupted a great story of mine. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's pretty much it. This is a very quick episode. I like it. I like it when it's like this. I think it's good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this one on Spotify. So you guys should definitely be doing what I do, which is when you work out, don't be listening to music. Be listening to the Get in the Hole podcast. That'll help you hit that PR. That'll help you squat those 300 pounds. That'll help you do 10 sets of 10 with 225 on the bench press.
You don't listen to us when you work out. Tell me. Just be honest with me right now.
I listen to myself. I don't actually listen to you.
Oh, so you take a break, skip through what I'm saying, and then get back to it?
Well, it's when it's your voice, it's just like white noise.
Fair play. Like, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials on social media, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your shows, and of course on YouTube. Get us over the thresholds in order for us to be able to give you even better content on the YouTubes, and of course social media. Get in the Hole Pod. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and of course on TikTok. You know where we're at. We're balling over here. For Ben, I'm Steve. Enjoy the week.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!